Story time, y'all. What's up? What's up? Story time, y'all. So I'm working, electrician, lumber mill, driving that 82 Scirocco back and forth to work. But the ignition kind of goes out, and the wiring and the starter actually is what it was. The starter went out there at work one day, so I had to get another car basically, and I just happened to run across this killer deal. I was swinging through town, and I see a 1995 Saturn SL2, white SL2 with badass 5-star aluminum rims, like 16s or something. They were nice. And the guy was, I think the price said like, I forget what the price said, but I ended up buying the car for like $500. And if you know anything about them Saturn SL2s, the 95 is the year to have, because in 95 they switched over the whole cam system from hydraulic to like linear, and it all this different things, and it bumped up the horsepower considerably, but they left the stats the same. But if you, the 95 was the year to have. It had traction control. It had like a sport. It was an automatic, but it had like a sport button you could push, down by the gear selector. It would rev out like it would slap 9,000 RPMs. You didn't even need that option to haul ass in it. But anyways, so I ended up having to move, and I didn't really have a place to go. So, called up an old homie of mine, talking about like op madness, op. I don't know what you call it nowadays. Oppressor, operative, fuck boy, undercover cop, whatever you want to, plain clothes, FBI, CIA, DEA, suck my wiener, all of that. So anyways, called up a homie of mine. He's like, yeah, oh yeah, come on over. Yeah, no problem. Don't you know there, bucko? Come on over and stay as long as you want. All things are groovy and hunky-dory over here in fuckboy land. Well, I didn't know my homie was tripping, right? Working for the police and whatnot, until I arrived at his house. I showed up. This motherfucker, you could tell right away something was wrong, Either he was just tweaking real bad, or the whole agenda got fucked, or who knows actually what the fuck happened. But thing about his place was that it was off grid. So no running water, no anything basically. It's out, on the Oregon coast somewhere. I'm not going to be specific as to where it was, but it was on the beach. And I was still on probation at the time, so I was having to drive quite a ways every 2 weeks. I didn't have a job anymore because I got laid off from the job. So, but I still had the Saturn, and I, from what money I did save up, I bought the nicest stereo I've ever had. It was like a 3,000 or 4,000 watt amp, but it was all going monoblock, like 1 ohm. I had it down to 1 ohm stable, to a 12-inch Soundstream dual voice coil. I forget which sub it was, the T5, something like that, or Tarantula, yada yada. But just that 112 hit so loud and so deep in that box that I had it in. It was insane, and the front speakers were so crystal clear. They were like Focal or some high end speakers that just sounded crisp. And altogether, that was just a mind blowing stereo to go along with a super fast, wicked car that was, fun, extra fun to drive. Thing was though, um, me and the homie got into a fight one day when I started calling him on his bullshit. And he did this and he did that, and I had to go. So next thing you know, I'm back where I came from, and I had to wash my hands of that Saturn. Still rips me up to this day thinking about it. I had to leave it there on his property with that whole stereo, all my shit. I had a whole tent full of shit, furniture and whatnot, from my apartment, from my room that I was renting out, previously. And so uh, I had to go and get a homie to tow that Scirocco back to my city, and so we towed it back there. I had to get running so I got the Scirocco running, got it back running again, and punched a hole in the exhaust so I could hear how loud the engine was, because it was a built engine out of Eugene, Oregon. And so, anyways, I'm homeless, living there in fucking Shitville, living out of my Scirocco, like homeless, like going back and forth these, uh, grocery store parking lots, back and forth, and kicking me out, chasing me around. Oh, you can't stay here. You can't do this. You can't do that. Then, goddamn, I'm gonna do what I want to do. I'm gonna do it when I want to do it. So all of a sudden, walking down the street is my best homie of all time, like my best friend, like ever, just walking down the street right towards me. Hey, what's up? Oh shit, not much. What the fuck you doing here? Oh no, the my the wife got an apartment, yada yada. He's like, you don't gotta stay in your car, bro. You can sleep on my couch. I'm like, yeah, cool beans and all that. Once again, if you think someone's cool, they're not. Doesn't matter how long you've known them. They'll try to entice you. They'll try to finesse you to get you to believe some shtick when they're busters. They're informants for the police the whole time. I didn't know this at this point, but I was. So anyways, I had to go, and when you're sleeping in an op's house and they don't know how to tell you. Like, he tried to tell me, like, what was going on one day when we were cruising around Portland and shit, but he didn't have the balls to tell me what he was actually up to. He almost said it, and I was like, what? So anyways, you know what I mean. It's always something. So this motherfucker's passing me around. They're all trying to set me up with all this illegal bullshit. Oh yeah, take me out to this house. They swing me out to another house. I stay there for a couple months. They swing me out to another trap house place, trying to set me up there for a few more weeks, and yada yada. And finally, we get back to his original apartment after all this failed attempts to fucking get me to slip up and whatnot, never. So it's fucking. it all leads to either fucking a bunch of shit or a bunch of shit, you know. Either way you look at her. So I love it. You know, it's like fuck that guy, fuck your whole life. You know, it's like yeah, stay up. You know, don't let these fuckers get to you and shit. But one time, uh, because I was like running from the probation, like I quit. Like I had that shit nailed and shit. Like my probation was almost over, and then I right at the very end I fucked it. So I relapsed on speed and crystal and different and so I was smoking once again, you know, drugs with this fool and been up for a couple days. I can remember I was pretty high off that stuff, but then we got in a car ride and we went out to the homie's house, which was way out past the suburbs, kind of getting out into the fort, just BFE, like out in the middle of nowhere and shit. But it was, I knew exactly where it was. You know, we'd been going there around there for years. His dad lived up in that area. Actually, his dad still lived like a couple miles down the road from where this happened. So we show up at this place, and I met this older cat, you know, another just a couple times or two, but they're trying to. I didn't know it, but they were trying to pawn me off at this dude's house, and so we jump on his Yamaha Rhino. And we're going out. We're going around. We drop acid. We eat all this acid. We're doing all these drugs and different shit. And all of a sudden, it gets dark, and we're still out there on this Yamaha Rhino, and the stars are out. And all of a sudden, the acid hits, kicks in really hard, and so we're out there milling around like out in this clear cut in the forest, you know, and we cruise back to the house, and all my homies gone. No one's there. Like they all left. So it's just me and old homie, you know, old fuck stick. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on? And I'm like, where is it? So we take off running down the road on the side by side, and he's tripping out because he's frying and shit, and he's all you don't know what he's talking about, like his dad, how he died here on this corner over here on motorcycle wreck, and he doesn't know where his wife is, and she's cheating on him, and my wife dead, and he's like crying. I think the tears were either one because we were flying down the road on this UTV so fast that the wind, you know how you cry when you go too fast, or he was literally crying because just of all the emotion in the moment and stuff and everything. So we're freaking out, and all of a sudden it's like this big Jeep behind us with the KC lights and lights everywhere. And I'm just like, pull the fuck over, dude. And we pulled over and let this truck go around us, and there's people out on the front porch of this house, and they're all looking at us, and we're like, I'm like, go, dude, or whatever. And so we're high as fuck, and we get back, and we're talking to people. No one's seen the homies, and we get back to the house there, or his wife, or whatever he's tripping out about. And we get back there, and he's like, yeah, this and that and everything. And he's like, I'm going to go inside and get something to drink. And he comes out with this bottle of wine. He's packing around this bottle of wine and shit. I'm like, what the fuck you doing, fool? And he's trying to get behind me and shit. And he's like, what? I'm like, you're acting fucking crazy and shit, you know? I'm like, let me take this fucking Yamaha Rhino. I'm going to fucking go find the homies. And she's like, you're not taking that Rhino. I'm like, why not? And he's like, yeah, yeah, yeah. So I'm like, well, the homie's truck was there. He had a pickup truck that, you know, a manual shift pickup truck. And it's like, I'm taking the homie's truck, you know, fuck you. And he's like, go ahead, take that piece of shit. So I went over there, and I'm at this point frying harder because I'm on stuff and stuff stacked on top of more stuff. I'm frying. I'm higher than I've ever been. Like everything's pulsing and like I I jump in the truck, and I'm driving down the freaking the road there, but everything's so like swirling around and shit that I can't even get the truck out of like second gear, maybe third gear. But God was going super slow. It was everything I could do just to get that truck down the road. And I went up to the his dad's old house where I knew he lived and knocked on his doors like 3:30 in the morning. Some shit woke his ass up, called him. I had his dad fucking call the homie up and ask him where the fuck they came and fucking picked me up. The homie showed up, pulled up in a big ass fucking truck, and swung the door. Get in. And I see just girls and shit in the truck and everything, and people I didn't know. He's like, "Well, I'm high as fuck," and he's like, "Get in." I'm just like, "No," and he's like laughing, talking from the passenger, sit shotgun. And so I get in, I slide up next to this bitch, and automatically, we're like flirting back there. We're driving down the road, and she's this and that and everything. And yeah, I ain't going for it. It's like everything's all fun and games until you get crossed over, by the homie who's a fucking switched up fucking pussy boy. So I handled things, I mean, I got back with what I wanted to do, when I fucking wanted to do it. Get me the fuck out of here. I don't give a fuck what the fuck, is your prerogative, y'all prerogative is. But and then so we got back to the apartment again. We're like, oh, holy shit, it's like things start, it's like, you know, so one thing led to another, this and that. Apartment got so trapped out that kids are so, fucking sucking the police's dick so much that, yeah, the whole fucking charade is just fucking laughable, and y'all can keep on doing it, and I just sit back like it's a movie playing in my eyes. I don't even got to turn the fucking TV on. I just gotta fucking sit and chill and fucking watch your bitch ass man. And I just sit there and I make up a bunch of shit and fucking all these lies stacked up on top of another lies because I'm just a psychopathic moron. All right, y'all. Y'all take it easy. Don't let them obfuscate. You know what I'm saying? Stay a few steps ahead of their bitch ass. Happy smoking. Stay frosty. Stay stony. Keep it on the flippy floppy. Peace the fuck out.